Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, we will be examining some sample games to illustrate the middle game and sometimes even end game ideas that can arise from the Nimzo Indian and Ragozin based repertoire against 1d4 that we cover on Chessable here, written by Daniel Barish and me. Now, let's have a look at some games. We will be looking at 12 games in total, and we will be starting with the game in the Ragozin defense to the Queen's Gambit. The first game is played between two grandmasters, Timur Gareev and Georgi, cannot pronounce that name, Ashiashvili, that's probably wrong. Yeah, a German, English, trying to say a Georgian name, yeah, it's very difficult. So let's get to actual chess moves. We reach the Ragozin via our usual move order. Here, bishop b4 is the starting point of the Ragozin. Gareev plays the move bishop g5, one of the main replies, and here black answers with castling. This move is not what we recommend actually. It's not a terrible move, but we recommend to play h6 immediately because this gives white the opportunity to play a mistake with bishop h4, or at least an inaccurate move, as this can be punished with taking. Now g5 becomes a real possibility, an important resource against a move like e4, after which g5 will almost win the game. Castles is possible, but it's not as precise. e3, h6, and here in this particular moment, white could have played bishop h4, which here is a bit better in comparison, as g5 is less of an option with the king already on g8. So black's move order here is a bit different to the one that we choose. After the capture, however, we transpose to a line that we examine, of course, in the main theoretical section. Rook c1, white's main move. And here, the black player, I try to avoid saying the name, let's say Georgi, decides to capture and play c5. This is also what we recommend. White castles, and now black takes on d4. Here white has a basic choice between recapturing on d4 with the pawn, and this is usually not done right away, but rather started with knight e4 as in the game, or simply recapture with the knight. This is the main line of the theoretical section. Black equalizes with the bishop d7, knight c6 idea. Not much to worry here. In this game, knight e4 is played, so white gains a tempo on the queen. Queen to f5, going for an active post of the queen, not back to e7. Knight to g3, the queen goes to a5, there's not much choice there. And now white takes on d4. Here, black has a rather important choice. He can play the move knight c6 as in the game, or the move rook d8. In the theoretical section, we recommend the move rook d8. The reasoning is that it should be there should be higher priority to play this move, putting some pressure on d4 and also freeing up for this maneuver. The bishop quite often has a useful role on e8, in particular after white has pushed the move d5 in order to open up the position. We will see later that black does not manage to play the move bishop to e8. So let's have a look how the game went. Knight c6, queen e2, and now black should, I think, play rook d8 and transpose to the kind of position that we examined in the theoretical part. Now, black played bishop d7, a3, and here black has a choice, go to d6 or go to e7. It seems that in this particular case, the move bishop d6 was a bit more precise. This is not really all that relevant theoretically, because black has already deviated from our main recommendation, but the game is still useful to study because we will see some typical important motifs. So bishop e7 is played, and now rook d1. This is a very standard kind of move. White is increasing the pressure in the center and gets the move d4, d5 on the map. This is a typical breakthrough. If you have the isolated queen pawn, the IQP, you usually want to get this idea d4, d5 in the picture, opening up the position and at the same time getting rid of your weakness. This is very important. The pawn can be a long-term weakness. You get rid of it by pushing d5 and you open up the position. Here in particular, the diagonal towards white's king. This is the main point here. Black has to be quite circumspect here, trying to be ready for this pawn push. What black played looks perfectly reasonable. He played the move rook f to e8, but it turns out that this actually has a tactical flaw. The move rook a8 would have been a bit better. And the main reason is that this would have been, this would have prevented the next move that happens after rook fe8. And this is why this game is interesting. Now, white had the opportunity to gain a bit of an advantage by pushing the move b4. This is not, at least in my mind, a very easy move play. You can simply ignore it and it doesn't get on your agenda at all because it looks like it just blunders the pawn. And the thing is, if black takes the pawn, he will be under huge pressure. After b5, we see that the knight has very little options. Yeah, there are no really good squares. You want to go to d8. Ugh. Yeah, that looks bad. So the relatively best move here is knight a5. And after that, rook a1, queen to b4, and bishop d3 leads to a position that is extremely difficult for black to handle. He has to still worry about this offside piece, and white simply has many pieces in the attack. If you look at this, and these kind of ideas, this is very scary. After something like rook e d8, queen e4, white is already threatening mate in 2, and you have to really be an extremally well-versed defender to hold this position together. This is very difficult, in particular in a practical game. Analytically, black might still not be lost, but it's very, very difficult to play this as you have no coordination. So this move b4 is a very interesting idea and probably leads to some sizable advantage. If black goes back to d8 instead of grabbing this, then knight e4 is a very annoying idea, trying to put the knight here and still play d5 at the right moment. As we see, black does not have enough control over the d5 square here. So white will manage this, this pawn push, and we should rather be ready for it. In the game, white did not play b4. I think it's not easy to see this move because you might simply not consider it. If you are told, okay, look at b4, what do you think of it? Then you probably figure it out. Even a very strong GM like Garayev did not see it. So Garayev played d5. This move looks perfectly reasonable. So white takes, bishop takes, and here we see that black's setup is a little bit unharmonious, a little bit, but still enough to hold this position together. In the theoretical section, we recommended a setup with this rook being here on d8 and the bishops on f8 and e8, which is kind of a back rank formation, but it's completely safe. Our king position is safe, and I don't think black has any problems here. Here, after this d5 push, black is also okay, but it's a little bit awkward, yeah? Rook a d8, that makes sense, cover the bishop here, queen c4, and now black does not have this comfortable cover with bishop e8, obviously, so he has to go to f8. Still, it's not a big deal, because what we have to see here is that black has no particular weakness, long-term weakness. White has a temporary activity here with the queen and bishop, but if we are able to cover everything, then we should be fine. In particular, trading one or two minor pieces can easily lead to a comfortable position for black. We have the bishop pair after all. So white played rook d3. Yeah, this is preparing before. This was a free preview of our anti-1d4 course based on the Nimzo Indian and Ragozin, available on chessable.com. Thanks for watching and see you soon.